Bruce Lee is lifting a barbell in his home gym when something in his lower back makes a sound like a branch breaking under weight. He drops to the floor, unable to move his legs. Doctors tell him he will never walk again. What happens in the next 6 months doesn't just prove them wrong. It creates the philosophy that changes martial arts forever. Los Angeles, California, August 1970. A small home gym in the basement of Bruce Lee's house on Roskumar Road. It's 7 in the morning. Bruce is alone. He always trains alone in the mornings. Before his wife Linda wakes up, before his son Brandon needs breakfast, before the phone starts ringing with students wanting lessons and producers wanting meetings, this hour belongs to him, to his body, to the work that never ends. The gym is simple: concrete floor, exposed beams, one wall covered in mirrors, weight rack in the corner, punching bag hanging from a ceiling beam, jump rope coiled on a wooden bench, medicine balls stacked like cannonballs, makiwara board mounted to the wall, the striking surface worn smooth and darkened from 10,000 impacts. This is where Bruce builds himself, where he experiments, where he pushes past what anyone thinks is possible. He treats his body like a laboratory. Every exercise is an experiment. Every workout is data. Most martial artists train techniques. Bruce trains systems: cardiovascular, muscular, neurological. He reads anatomy textbooks like other people read novels. Understands kinesiology better than most physical therapists. He knows exactly which muscles fire in which sequence to generate maximum power with minimum effort. This morning, he's working on his lower back, specifically the erector spinae muscles, the long bands of muscle that run parallel to the spine. Bruce believes most martial artists neglect the lower back, focus too much on arms and legs, on the weapons, but the lower back is the foundation, the connection point between upper and lower body, where power transfers, where torque generates. A weak lower back means weak kicks, weak punches, weak everything. So Bruce trains it obsessively. Good mornings, deadlifts, hyperextensions, weighted back raises. He's been doing this routine 3 times a week for 2 years, gradually increasing weight, gradually increasing intensity, pushing the boundary between growth and injury. Today he's doing good mornings. A barbell across his shoulders, 135 pounds. Not heavy by powerlifting standards, but substantial for someone who weighs 140 pounds. The exercise is simple. Feet shoulder width apart. Barbell resting on the trapezius muscles, bend forward at the hips while keeping the back straight. Feel the stretch in the hamstrings. Feel the tension in the lower back. Then stand up. Squeeze the glutes. Contract the erector spinae. Return to standing. Repeat. It's a fundamental strength exercise. Bruce has done thousands of these, knows the movement pattern by heart, knows exactly how his body should feel at every point in the range of motion. He loads the barbell, 2 45-pound plates, a 35-pound bar, 135 total, positions it across his shoulders, takes a breath, bends forward, feels the familiar stretch, the controlled tension. Everything is normal. Everything is fine. He starts to stand up, engages his glutes, starts to contract his lower back. Then something goes wrong. The sound comes first. A wet crack, like a tree branch snapping, but deeper, wetter, coming from inside his body, from the base of his spine. Bruce knows immediately something is catastrophically wrong, before the pain hits, before his legs go numb, before anything else. He knows from the sound alone. That sound means structural failure, means something that should be connected just came apart. Then the pain arrives, white, hot, blinding, starting at his 4th lumbar vertebra and exploding outward like a bomb, racing down both legs, up his spine into his neck. His vision goes dark at the edges, his knees buckle. The barbell falls off his shoulders, crashes to the concrete floor. The sound echoes through the basement. Bruce drops. His legs aren't working. can't feel them, can't control them. He hits the floor hard, face down, arms outstretched, trying to catch himself, but there's nothing to catch, just concrete rushing up to meet him. He lies there. Can't move, can't stand, can't feel his upper body, his arms, his chest, his head, but below his waist is wrong. Not numb exactly, more like disconnected, like his legs belong to someone else, like the signals from his brain are hitting a wall somewhere in his lower back and bouncing back. He tries to move his right foot, nothing. Tries his left, nothing. Tries to bend his knees, nothing. Panic starts to set in, the kind of panic that comes when your body stops obeying commands, when the fundamental contract between mind and muscle breaks down. Or Bruce calls for Linda. His voice comes out wrong, weak, strained. He calls again, louder. She hears him. He can hear her footsteps above him. Running. She opens the basement door, sees him on the floor. The barbell rolled away. Bruce face down, spread eagle. She's down the stairs in seconds, kneeling next to him, asking what happened. Are you okay? Can you move? Bruce tells her through gritted teeth. Something broke. Can't feel my legs. Call ambulance. Linda runs upstairs. Bruce hears her on the phone, hears the fear in her voice as she gives the address. Tells them her husband can't move his legs. Tells them to hurry. Bruce lies on the cold concrete. Tries again to move his feet. Nothing. Tries to feel anything below his waist. Just that disconnected wrongness, like his lower body belongs to a different person. He knows what this means, knows enough anatomy to understand. Spinal injury, nerve damage, the kind of injury that ends athletic careers, the kind that puts people in wheelchairs, the kind that doesn't heal. The ambulance arrives 12 minutes later, feels like 12 hours. Paramedics come down the stairs with a backboard and neck brace. They ask Bruce questions. What happened? Where does it hurt? Can you feel this? They touch his feet, his calves, his thighs. Bruce feels nothing. They immobilize his spine, strap him to the backboard, carry him up the narrow stairs. Linda follows, holding Brandon, who's crying because mommy is crying and daddy is on a board and strangers are in the house. They load Bruce into the ambulance. Linda climbs in with him. They drive to Santa Monica Hospital with sirens blaring. The emergency room doctor is young, maybe 30. He does the same test the paramedics did, touches Bruce's feet, his legs, asks if Bruce can feel it. Bruce says no. The doctor's face doesn't change, but his eyes tell the story. He orders x-rays, then an MRI. Bruce lies on the table while the machine buzzes and clicks around him, taking pictures of his spine, mapping the damage, finding out how bad it is. 2 hours later, the doctor returns with films, clips them to a light box, points to Bruce's lower spine, 4th lumbar vertebra, low 4. There's a compression fracture. The vertebra has collapsed slightly on one side. More concerning is the space between low 4 and L5, the disc, the cushion that should sit between the vertebrae. It's bulging, herniating, pressing into the spinal canal, into the nerves that control the legs. That's why Bruce can't feel anything. The herniated disc is compressing the nerves, cutting off signals between brain and legs. The doctor explains the prognosis. It's not good. The fracture will heal with time and rest. 6 to 8 weeks in a back brace. But the herniated disc is the real problem. It's pressing on the nerve roots, specifically the L4 and L5 nerve roots. Those control the legs. Hip flexion, knee extension, ankle dorsiflexion. Everything Bruce needs to walk, to kick, to train, to be a martial artist. The pressure on those nerves has caused temporary paralysis, maybe permanent. The doctor says maybe because he doesn't know, can't know. Nerve damage is unpredictable. Some people recover fully. Some people never recover. Some people recover partially. It's a waiting game. Bruce asks what the treatment is. The doctor says rest, complete bed rest for 6 weeks minimum. No movement, no training, no activity. Let the vertebra heal. Let the inflammation around the herniated disc go down. Hope the pressure on the nerves releases. Hope function returns. If function doesn't return after 6 weeks, they'll consider surgery. Spinal fusion. Remove the herniated disc. Bolt the vertebrae together. That might restore some function, or it might not. It might leave Bruce paralyzed from the waist down forever, might end his career, might end everything he's built. The doctor doesn't say that last part out loud, but Bruce hears it anyway. Linda drives Bruce home. They've given him a back brace, rigid plastic that wraps around his torso, keeps his spine immobile. They've given him crutches, but Bruce can't use them because his legs don't work. So Linda and a neighbor carry Bruce into the house, up the stairs, into the bedroom, lower him onto the bed. Bruce lies there, 30 years old, the most famous martial artist in Hong Kong, building a career in Hollywood, in the best shape of his life, and now he can't walk, can't stand, can't move without help, has to use a bedpan because he can't get to the bathroom, has to be fed because sitting up puts pressure on his spine, has to lie flat on his back 24 hours a day and wait to see if his legs come back, wait to see if his career survives, wait to see if his identity as a martial artist means anything when his body no longer works. The first 2 weeks are hell. Physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain. Bruce lies in that bed and confronts the possibility that everything he is might be over, that Bruce Lee, the martial artist, might be finished at 30, that all the training, all the philosophy, all the discipline and dedication and sacrifice, all of it might end because he pushed one set too far on a Tuesday morning. The unfairness of it burns. The randomness. He's done thousands of good mornings. Why did this one break him? What did he do wrong? Was it the weight, the form, the recovery time, or just bad luck? Just wrong place, wrong time, wrong angle, wrong everything. He sinks into depression, stops talking to Linda, stops wanting to see Brandon, stops eating properly, just lies there staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything he's lost, everything he might never have again. Students call wanting lessons. He tells Linda to say he's busy. Producers call about movie projects. Same answer. Friends call to check in. He doesn't want to talk to anyone, doesn't want anyone to see him like this. Broken, helpless. Not Bruce Lee anymore, just some guy who can't walk trapped in a bed. Week 3, something shifts. Bruce is lying there at 2 in the morning. Can't sleep because his back aches and his mind won't stop. He's thinking about a conversation he had with Yip Man years ago in Hong Kong, his Wing Chun teacher, his first real master. Yip Man told him that martial arts isn't about the body. The body is just a tool, a vehicle. The real martial art happens in the mind. Understanding, adaptation, problem solving. The body executes, but the mind creates. Bruce dismissed it at the time, thought it was old man philosophy, empty words. But now lying here unable to move, he understands. His body is broken, but his mind isn't. His legs don't work, but his brain does. He can't train physically, but he can train mentally. He can think, read, write, learn, grow. The injury took his body, but it gave him something else. Uninterrupted time to do the thing he never has time for. Think deeply, question everything, rebuild his understanding of martial arts from the ground up. He asks Linda to bring him books, anatomy texts, philosophy books, physics, biomechanics, psychology, anything about movement and combat and human performance. She fills the bedroom with books, stacks them on the nightstand, on the dresser, on the floor. Bruce reads. 8 hours a day, 10 hours, 12. He can't move his body, so he moves through ideas. He takes notes, fills legal pads with observations, questions, theories. He starts writing what will become the Tao of Jeet Kune, his philosophical treatise on martial arts, not techniques, philosophy, the principles underneath the techniques, the why instead of the how. He writes about water, about formlessness, about adapting to circumstances, about using what works and discarding what doesn't, about not being bound by tradition or style or doctrine, about being honest about what actually works in combat versus what looks impressive in demonstrations. He writes from a hospital bed, unable to walk, writes some of the most influential martial arts philosophy ever committed to paper, because his body failed him, so his mind had to get stronger. Week 5, Bruce feels something. A tingle in his right foot. Faint. Could be imagining it. He focuses. He tries to wiggle his toes. Nothing. Tries again. There. A slight movement. Barely visible, but it's there. His big toe moves. A millimeter. But it moves. He calls Linda. Shows her. She cries. He cries. It's the first sign that the nerves are healing, that maybe function will return. Maybe he'll walk again. The doctor said, 6 weeks minimum. Bruce is at 5 weeks, right on schedule. Over the next 10 days, more function returns. He can wiggle all his toes, can flex his ankles slightly, can feel pressure on his feet, can't walk yet, can't stand. But the nerves are waking up, slowly, gradually, sending signals again, building pathways. The doctor is cautiously optimistic, says Bruce has maybe a 50-50 chance of returning to normal function, maybe 70-30 if he's lucky, says it will take months of physical therapy, says Bruce will never be the same athletically, will never kick as high, move as fast, generate as much power, says Bruce should accept that and adjust his expectations, should find a new career, should consider teaching instead of performing, should be grateful he can walk at all. Bruce hears all of this and decides the doctor is wrong, not maliciously wrong, just wrong. Wrong because he doesn't understand who Bruce Lee is, doesn't understand the level of discipline Bruce brings to everything. The doctor sees a patient who should accept limitations. Bruce sees a problem to solve through systematic, dedicated, intelligent work. He approaches his rehabilitation the way he approaches martial arts. Break it down into components. Understand the mechanics. Design a program. Execute with precision. Track progress. Adjust based on results. Turn recovery into science. Month 3, Bruce can stand with assistance. Month 4, he can walk slowly with a cane. Month 5, he can walk unassisted. His gait is wrong, stiff, awkward. He can't kick above his waist, can't generate power in his right leg. But he's walking. The doctors are shocked. They've never seen someone recover function this fast from this severe an injury. They ask what he's doing. Bruce shows them his notebooks, detailed logs of every exercise, every stretch, every measurement, range of motion tracked to the degree, strength gains tracked by the pound, pain levels rated on a scale, sleep quality, diet, everything quantified, everything measured, everything optimized. The doctors have never seen anything like it. Most patients do whatever physical therapy tells them. Bruce designed his own program based on reading 50 medical textbooks and experimenting on himself. Month 6, Bruce is back in his basement gym. Can't lift heavy yet, can't kick high, but he's training. He stands in front of the mirror, watches himself move. Everything is slower, stiffer, wrong. He looks like a different person. His kicks are embarrassingly weak, his stances are unstable. He's lost flexibility, lost speed, lost power, but he's standing, moving, training. That's enough for now. He'll build back the rest. Year 2, Bruce is teaching again. Not just teaching, performing. He books a role on the television show Longstreet, plays a martial arts instructor. The producers don't know about his injury, don't know he almost never walked again. Don't know that 18 months ago doctors told him his career was over. They just see Bruce Lee moving with precision and power and grace, a little different than before, a little less explosive, but still Bruce Lee, still undeniable. But here's what nobody sees, what doesn't make it into the documentaries or the biographies. The injury changed Bruce in ways more fundamental than physical. Before the injury, Bruce believed in hard work and discipline. After the injury, he believed in systematic, intelligent adaptation. Before, he trained until exhaustion. After, he trained until optimal. Before, he pushed through pain. After, he listened to pain and adjusted. Before, he thought the body was everything. After, he understood the mind creates the body. The 6 months in bed gave him time to think deeper than he ever had, to question every assumption, to rebuild his martial arts philosophy from scratch. The Tao of Jeet Kune Do doesn't exist without that injury. The philosophy of being like water doesn't come from success. It comes from being broken and having to flow around the obstacle. The injury also changed how Bruce taught. Before, he pushed students hard, demanded perfection. After, he taught adaptability, taught students to read their own bodies, to understand their own biomechanics, to train smart instead of just training hard. He told them the story of his back, told them how pushing too hard almost ended everything, told them that training is a lifetime practice. You don't win by working hardest for 1 year. You win by working sustainably for 50 years, by being smart enough to avoid injury, by adapting when injury happens, by flowing around obstacles instead of smashing through them. By 1972, Bruce is back to full strength, better than full strength, stronger than before the injury, faster, more powerful, because he rebuilt his body correctly the second time, understanding things he didn't understand the first time. Enter the Dragon films in 1973. Bruce does stunts that shouldn't be possible for someone who was paralyzed 3 years earlier, kicks that shouldn't work with a herniated disc and a compression fracture. But Bruce doesn't believe in shouldn't. He believes in systematic, intelligent work. He believes that limitations exist until you figure out how to work around them. He proved it to himself during 6 months in bed, proved that the mind can rebuild what the body broke. Bruce Lee dies in July 1973. Cerebral edema, swelling of the brain, nothing to do with his back. He never gets old, never has to face decline, dies at the peak of his physical powers after proving that he could come back from catastrophic injury. The back injury that should have ended him became the crucible that forged his philosophy. The 6 months that proved doctors wrong, the 6 months that created the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, the 6 months that taught Bruce Lee that being like water means adapting to whatever container life pours you into, even if that container is a hospital bed, even if that container is paralysis, even if that container is being told you'll never walk again. You adapt, you flow, you find the way through. 50 years later, physical therapists study Bruce Lee's rehabilitation, use his methods, his systematic approach to recovery, his quantified self-experimentation, his refusal to accept medical limitations without testing them. Sports medicine has caught up to what Bruce figured out lying in bed with a stack of anatomy textbooks, that the mind drives recovery. That belief in discipline and systematic intelligent work can overcome injuries that seem impossible, that the body adapts to whatever demands you place on it as long as you're smart about progression. Bruce proved it, not through genetics or luck, through mind, through philosophy, through understanding that martial arts isn't about the body, it's about the mind using the body as a tool to solve problems. Who in your life is telling you what you can't do? What limitations are you accepting because an expert told you they're permanent? What would happen if you questioned those limitations? If you approached your obstacle the way Bruce approached paralysis, with systematic, intelligent, dedicated work, with belief that obstacles exist to be flowed around, with understanding that your mind is stronger than your circumstances, because 6 months can end everything or begin everything. The choice is in how you use the time. Bruce used his 6 months to create a philosophy that outlived his body. What will you create with yours?